Let me ask you something. How many of your team members seem disengaged? Not just physically tired, but mentally and emotionally drained. Maybe they're still doing their work, but that spark, it's just gone. The enthusiasm has faded, and they are going through the motions, but you can tell that something is off. And if you're like most managers, your first thought is probably that it's about workload. Are we asking too much of our people? Are people working too many hours? And yes, excessive hours definitely leads to burnout. But here's what I learned after years of working with managers and their teams. The biggest causes of burnout aren't always the obvious ones. In fact, there are many things that can quietly drain your team's energy every single day. And most of us have no idea that they are happening. And these aren't dramatic, obvious problems. They're subtle, persistent issues that just chip away at people's motivation and well-being until one day your best employees are updating their LinkedIn profiles. But here is the good news. Once you know what to look for, you can address these issues before they become serious problems or take action to deal with them and their root causes. And the solutions, they're not complicated or expensive. They're small changes that can make a huge difference in how your team feels about coming to work every day. So today, in part 1, we are diving into the first 6 causes and what you can do about them. Hello and welcome to The Modern Manager. I'm Amy Camphor-Stewart, and every week I share strategies and tips to help you be a rockstar manager with a thriving team. While you're here, I hope that you'll subscribe to the show so that you never miss an episode. And if you want more resources to support your professional development journey, like the extended episodes, where this week I share how to catch the early signs of burnout, then check out the benefits of Podcast Plus. The link is in the show notes. I'm also launching a new program for managers on how to build a team playbook so that your team can be more aligned and collaborate more smoothly. If you'd benefit from having clearer expectations and less friction on your team, you can learn more about this program in the link in the show notes. Now, before we jump into these 6 causes, I want to be clear about something. This is not about creating a workplace where everyone is happy all the time. That is not realistic, and honestly, it's not necessarily healthy, because some stress and some challenge are really good for growth and performance. This is about recognizing the difference between productive challenge and destructive drain. It's about understanding that when people are burned out, they're not just unhappy, they're less creative, less productive, and more likely to make mistakes. They're also more likely to leave, which means that you lose all of the time and energy that you have invested in developing them and now have to spend time hiring someone new, which we all know is in and of itself so exhausting. So the 6 causes that we're going to talk about today are based on research and real-world experience from managers who have learned to spot these issues early and address them effectively. And some of these, they might surprise you because they're not what we typically think of as burnout causes, but they are incredibly common and they are probably affecting your team right now. Let me walk you through each of these hidden causes of burnout and what you can do about them. The first cause is false urgency. This is when everything feels like a fire drill, when every task is treated as if it is the most important thing that has ever happened to us, and when deadlines are constantly unrealistic. Now I get it. Some things really are urgent, but when everything is urgent, then basically nothing is urgent. And your team starts to feel like they are in constant crisis mode, which is exhausting. So here's what you can do. Start clarifying priorities with your team. Not every task is a alarm fire. Help people understand what's actually urgent versus what's just important. And be honest about deadlines. If something doesn't really need to be done by Friday, don't say it just to create motivation. We do need deadlines. Just be transparent about hard deadlines and soft ones. And I had a client who realized that she was using urgency as a management tool without realizing it because she thought it would motivate people to work faster, but instead it was just leading to burnout. And when she started being more realistic about those timelines and priorities, her team's stress levels dropped significantly, and by response, their productivity improved. The second cause is unfair treatment. This includes favoritism, unequal opportunities, or inconsistent application of policies, or just treating some people better than others. This one is particularly damaging because it doesn't just affect the person who's being treated unfairly, it affects everyone who witnesses it. When people see that fairness is not a priority, they lose trust in leadership and start to just disengage. And the solution is to audit your processes and behavior for fairness and build a culture of transparency. Look at how you distribute opportunities, how you handle conflicts, how you make decisions about promotions and recognition. Are you being consistent? Are you being transparent about those decisions? I had a client who told me that they didn't offer an opportunity to a team member because they knew that this person had young children at home and that they didn't want to burden them with having to travel for work. But that was not the manager's decision to make. If the employee was a good fit for the opportunity, he should have been transparent about what it required and let that person decide if they wanted to take it on. The third cause is relentless change. Now, change is inevitable, and it is often necessary for growth and improvement. But when policies and procedures and priorities are constantly shifting, especially without explanation or good reason, people feel like they just can't get their footing. Now, first off, don't get sucked into the need to change because of a shiny new object like, ooh, AI, or a desire to squeeze out a little more efficiency. Be judicious in what needs to change and conscious of how many things you're shifting around, and then intentional about why this change is necessary and the benefits it aims to produce. Now, the second key here is communication. When you do need to make a change, explain the why. Why is this happening? And involve your team in the process whenever it's possible. Help people understand the reason behind the change and how it connects to larger goals. So I had a client who told me that a team member of his wasn't following any process because it was just the flavor of the week. And the team member knew that after a little while, this process would change again, so it wasn't worth his time to learn it. That kind of constant change not only fosters disengagement, but for those who are trying to keep up, it means giving extra energy to constantly try to learn and remember a new system. And that is exhausting. The fourth cause is excessive workload. And this is probably the one that you thought of first when I mentioned burnout. But it's not just about the number of hours people are working. It's also about piling on responsibilities without providing relief or support. And here, the solution involves three things. 1, you gotta delegate more effectively. 2, look for automation whenever you can. And thirdly, advocate for manageable workloads. When we delegate tasks or responsibilities, if we are doing our part to set someone up for success, what we think might take an hour ends up taking them 3. And then there are so many opportunities with AI and automation to just eliminate steps or speed up parts so that what used to be a manual process now happens automatically. But you've got to take a step back and take the time to learn how to use AI effectively or set up those automations with your team. And that can feel like extra work, but I promise it will save you and your team so much time on the back end. Lastly, if you're a middle manager and that workload is coming from above, part of your job is to push back and advocate for your team. That might mean having a difficult conversation with your own boss about what's realistic and sustainable, or at the very least, what the real priority is. The fifth cause is limited growth opportunities. For a lot of us, when we feel stuck in our current role with no path forward, motivation just dies. And this is especially true for those high performers who are naturally driven to develop and advance. And it doesn't just need to be advancement in your career. When you stop learning in a role, it can start to feel limiting. So what you need to do is create clear growth paths for your team members, even if traditional promotions are not available. So this might mean stretch assignments or cross-training or mentoring opportunities or skill development programs. And celebrate the small wins along the way. Growth does not always have to be dramatic to be meaningful. The sixth cause is low pay or feeling undercompensated. Money is definitely not a motivator for everyone, but when you feel like you are not being paid for the value that you're bringing, it takes a toll. Now, as a manager, you might not have any direct control over salaries, but you're also not powerless here. If raises are not possible right now, explore other forms of compensation. This could be additional time off, or flexible work arrangements, or professional development opportunities, or other perks. Just be sure to check with HR to ensure that you are consistent with any of the company policies. The challenge is that multiple causes of burnout often work together to create that perfect storm. Someone might be dealing with excessive workload and false urgency and limited growth opportunities all at the same time. And that's why it's important to look at the whole picture and not just focus in on one issue in isolation. And that's why small changes in multiple areas could actually be more effective than one giant change. So here's what I want you to do this week. Go through the list and honestly assess and reflect which of these causes might be affecting your team. And also have conversations with your people. Ask them what's draining your energy. Ask them what would help them feel more supported and engaged. And you might be surprised by what you learn. Then pick 1 or 2 small changes that you can make this week and build from there. So for example, if you realize that false urgency is an issue, establishing a norm about how deadlines and priorities will be set could be helpful. If excessive workload is a problem, Try asking, how might we automate or use AI to streamline our work? And here's what I want you to take away. Your team is watching how you handle stress, how you treat people, and how you respond when things get difficult. So when you're intentional about preventing burnout, you're modeling the kind of leadership that creates psychological safety and high performance. And here's the beautiful thing. When you create that environment where people feel valued and supported and empowered, they don't just avoid burnout, they actually become more engaged and more motivated. So you don't need to lower your standards. You simply need to remove the unnecessary obstacles that are preventing people from doing their best work. If this episode gave you some new insights into preventing burnout on your team, hit subscribe and share it with another manager who might be seeing signs of exhaustion or disengagement on their team. And for more strategies on building healthy, high-performing teams, visit themodernmanager.com and check the show notes for the links to Podcast Plus and my Team Playbook program. Thanks again for joining me. Until next time.